What does that sound?
That's the lovemaking sound. Clapping cheeks.
And with that, my name is AC.
And this is Scrooge.
And
We are the real men of action.
what are we here to do? What are we here to talk about right now?
To spread the gospel. The gospel of
gospel?
Miamel.
Miamel?
Miamel.
Is it a
Wow.
camel movie? Or are we in the
This is what
desert?
happened. Again, you got me hyped up on all that sugar and Skittles. This is your fault. I'm
Yeah.
here to spread the gospel of Miami Connection.
Here to spread the gospel. Now, how are you doing today, Scrooge?
Not good, man. My wife left me.
She left you, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
That fucking bitch.
You didn't have a wife when I met you last. Was
Right,
this...
because she's gone. That's right.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah,
I was
thanks,
here
man.
last time I saw no
Really
woman.
appreciate it.
Why didn't
Yeah.
you bring it up last time then?
Because you never ask. That's why.
Oh, well, I guess we should start the show then, right?
Yeah. You ready?
All right, sweet. Let's get it going. All right, Scrooge, you brought this movie to my attention.
You're welcome, by the way.
So, yeah, exactly. I am a connoisseur of sorts of bad movies, and
You wear it proudly. You really do.
I do. And I can't believe over dinner tonight, you brought it up to your mother that I know a lot of bad movies, because it's true. I do know a lot of them.
Did you take that as an insult? I
No.
mean, you should be wearing that proudly.
No, I
you sound
honestly-
kind of insulted by that.
No, it wasn't insulted. It was, what's the
Take it
word?
back.
Yeah, it just kind of threw me off guard a little bit, So, no, but that's good.
Get used to it.
Because I want to be known as that guy, but if I'm going to love bad movies, Miami Connection is up there. Is one of the most well-known bad movies, aside from obviously other classics like Troll 2 and, of course, Samurai Cop and other ones as well.
The Room.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, what enticed you to show me this movie?
Well, to begin with, I mean, my history with Miami Connection goes back. My buddy Greg, who also loves bad movies, which, if you ever find Greg and he tells you he doesn't, he's a liar.
So,
Okay?
any Greg? Any guy named
Any
Greg?
Greg. You find any Greg on the street, you go up to him, you point in his face that you are a fucking liar.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to try this.
Yeah, you're going to. So you go up to any random guy on the street named Greg, you take care of business. Greg, he loves bad movies.
Okay.
And so this is one of the movies we watched together, and instantly, of course, we had a ball watching it. And then I had the opportunity to go to a Riff Tracks live showing where they riffed on it and made fun of it, which further, gave me even more, of a connection to Miami Connection. So I loved it. And then for Christmas, my buddy Greg went and gave me a Blu-ray copy of it. So it's just
Yeah,
it's
we just opened that today,
Yeah.
right? Beautiful little... You have it over there, don't you? The little
No,
insert that came with
Yes, I have the beautiful insert right here. Escape from Miami.
it? Escape from... Isn't that one of the songs within the movie?
Yes, it is. One of the many platinum songs, I think. Yeah.
Well, before we get into the beautiful soundtrack of this movie, let's just give a brief synopsis to the folks
Sure,
out there listening
absolutely.
right now about it. So you can correct me at any time because,
absolutely. Go
I don't
for
know
it.
this at all. This is from one viewing of this is how somebody who has never seen it, this is how I'll describe it, okay?
Yeah.
So you've got this band of orphans.
Mm-hmm.
So they're college students. Okay, so label-wise, they're college students, they're orphans, they're also minorities, is another thing. And secretly, they are martial artists as well.
Correct.
Would you say? Because, as you said in the beginning, they somehow all know, but then halfway through the movies, there's a training montage as well, right?
Yes.
But, so you got them, and they are going against, who is it? The
Ninja.
The Ninja Gang, and they're related to the Coke somehow, right? Because, so in the intro shot of the movie, there is a Coke gang, and then the ninjas come out or something like that, correct? So basically, this whole movie is the band trying to defend their turf from the ninjas and the criminals. So there's two subsets. But this movie's kind of all over the place where they're all related, and that's why they call it Miami Connection.
Right. The best part being is that any of you who are listening at home would go and watch this movie and not being able to explain it themselves either. So the best thing you can say is drugs, ninjas, bands, mullets, and mustaches.
Boobs sometimes.
Yes, the worst kind. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I forgot how bad those were.
Man, it's just not called for. Like who?
No.
Like I know that like the guy making this movie was like, like we need to show some sleaze to this movie, and I guess that's a way to put it in. But let's give some background about the direction of this movie, like you told me. So it's from 1987.
Yeah,
glorious
so,
1980s.
we're talking about the pinnacle in 1987, Predator. The cinematic masterpieces of Predator. Spaceballs.
Scarface.
We got all great 80s classics, and then coming, from heaven, what descended upon us was Miami Connection. So it was a Taekwondo master by the name of Mr. YK Kim. YK Kim, because that's what, if anyone knows about martial arts, they love to simplify their names to make it more easy for American students and whatnot. But YK Kim, he was a Taekwondo master who had the opportunity to showcase his martial arts in a movie, and sought after it, thinking that this was going to be a good, almost like a advertisement for Taekwondo, thinking it's a, mental, spiritual, physical kind of thing. And so he was able to gather up $1 million from his friend. I don't know.
Like,
okay, I can't
this
ask.
is like Tommy Wiseau money,
I
dude.
can't ask a man for $5. I can't even ask my personal friend for $5 with them turning me down. But these guys find millions of dollars out of nowhere to make this shit. Okay, so when he gets the $1 million and he makes the movie, and despite his best efforts, completely tanks. Nothing. Like it just vanishes like a fart in the wind for like 20, 30 years. And until just by chance someone picks it up off of eBay and buys it, and then it starts getting distributed around different movie theaters that have movie nights where it's like throwbacks to the 70s and 80s, weird exploitation movies or whatever.
People love this stuff, dude.
Oh, they eat it up, and so they ate it up when they found it. And then eventually they contacted him, and he thought it was a joke. He thought, because his life had been, that part of his life had been ruined, and he'd been made fun of so much, he thought it was a joke. But he realized that no, people actually went crazy for it, and saw a resurgence back in like 2012 with a DVD release and everything else.
That
and then,
cover, dude, it's neon, it's in your face. It's
80s.
It's the 1980s in a
80s
movie
personified.
cover.
Here, I even let me read you the paragraph. This pretty much sums it up for you. Born in Seoul, Korea, Grandmaster YK Kim describes himself as a modern philosopher, motivational speaker, and world-renowned evangelist of the martial arts. He moved to America in 1976 with only his black belt and a heart full of hope. Initially homeless, his incredible perseverance allowed him to carve out a living by opening Florida's eyes to the practice of Taekwondo.
Wow.
Hold on.
you're
Don't
still
forget
going?
this. Yeah,
Okay.
You need this because this is the kicker. This eventually earned him the platform to embark on other projects, including several books, public exhibitions, and the incredible opportunity to produce, write, and star in his own American action epic, Miami Connection.
Ooh, classic.
Perfect way to describe it. That's exactly it.
It's crazy that like when you buy a Blu-ray nowadays, they come with those booklets, because like a lot of ones, like if you were to buy like a brand new Blu-ray, that's not like, this is like an old movie put on Blu-ray. But if you were to buy like, I don't know, say The Avengers or a new movie that just came out and put it on Blu-ray, they don't have these booklets anymore. And I like this commemorative little booklet.
Well, I love that stuff too. I mean, that's like movie viewing for me is like 80% trivia once I finally, after watching a movie. The rest of after I've seen a movie, I always want to immerse myself as much as I can about a movie. So I think it's when bad movies get this kind of treatment, that means that it has created such a mythos or infamy that people have to know more about why this stuff is made.
Yeah, because I mean, why else would they put a booklet in there? I mean, maybe they just want to get the story and the facts straight. Maybe.
Oh, think about, you go to any Walmart, or any place that just sells like the trash B movies, literally lined up. If you open up one of those, I can almost guarantee you they don't have a booklet. It's just it's the special ones that like there's something about them that people love, and it catches on, and people want to know more about how these bad movies were made.
Why wasn't there a steelbook of this, or like
there should have been? It should have been like a pop-up book. When you pulled it out, it's just him kicking you in the face.
Yeah,
I would have totally bought that.
Well, I mean, like this movie in general, it doesn't take itself too serious, which I like about it. But I wrote down in my notes, it's got a weird like blend of like friendly, like a family friendly message to it. Like friends are the most important thing in your
Friends
life.
to eternity,
Yes,
loyalty,
with
honesty,
the soundtrack, obviously. But at the same time, there's a blend of violence that just smothers the whole movie. So it's like he's trying to show that, like, violence isn't the answer. But
well, then this is the perfect time to say what did you like about watching it? Now, like what was like the give me the your kill shot, your movie kill shot.
All right, so I've seen this movie in parts, and I've never seen it in full. So when I say I haven't seen it in full, if I've seen it in parts, I'm not going to say I've actually seen the movie. When I say I've seen a movie, I have to see it from front to back, because most of these shots and these scenes that I've seen, they make no sense. And now that I watched the whole movie, they really don't make any more sense. Yeah,
that still doesn't make any more sense.
So I was like halfway through this movie, really hoping this movie would end soon. Like, it was pretty painful at some parts, though.
Looking it is over at you,
it is watchable.
You had that look on your face.
Yeah, it is watchable. I think the action scenes are pretty fun. Like, they're not the best martial arts ever, obviously, but they're fun enough where you're hanging out with good, like you and me, hanging out with a good buddy. You can make fun of these. You can have a great time.
We have our shirts off, maybe. Pants, they might be there.
Showing, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I
Oil
don't know.
might be involved, but
other
no
than
one knows.
that, I honestly, the dialogue in this movie was so bad. The delivery by the dialogue, I don't think these were real actors. I don't think
so
any
that's
of them
another thing
were
is
real
that
actors.
because he just got money to from his friends and family, however he raised it, he literally just used people from his taekwondo school or his circle of friends to be in the movie. Mm-hmm. So they're literally just people that either was fellow students or whoever they were. And in my opinion, because I do martial arts, I can tell the difference between people who are literally probably just his friends and those were his students, because you can see a distinctive difference between the two of them.
Well, that's like where it's a good idea to use people who are martial artists in that sense, but at the same time, why don't you just use them as like the what do they call, stuntmen? Why don't they just use them as a stuntmen and
because they all sucked,
and then find similar actors to them? If you have $1 million.
Well, remember, think about he is a man who came from Korea, and he moved to 76, and I can guarantee you that probably his only introduction to American culture, American films, is probably, as we talked before about these movies where directors just given a bunch of money or they find money. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think the way they approach movies is they think this is what American audiences want from watching other really ridiculous or horrible movies.
Yeah.
And so he's not even, even thinking about quality this, quality that. And on top of it, remember, if the man doesn't even fully grasp the English language, which I can't even, speak English most of the time myself, it's very difficult to be able to direct people in it because you can't tell the difference between it sounding good, it sounding bad, because you're just struggling to try to form the words together.
Well, he should have. Did he write the script?
Yeah, he what I was reading in this booklet here, getting further information that I already knew, is that initially they were laughed out of buildings, even with what he first had. So he actually had to go back and rewrite and refilm most of it himself with nothing but a how-to film movies book or guide underneath his arm as he was doing it.
Well,
so
with $1 million, you could definitely hire a nice film crew. Where did I feel like $20,000 went into this movie and the rest went to coke? Maybe.
No, I'm pretty sure most of the budget was spent on jeans.
Jeans.
Probably it was jeans. It was tight jeans.
Scarves.
So many scarves. So many, and then ninja outfits.
Yes.
So that's pretty much the three right there. I don't think anyone did coke there, because it would have been a much better movie if they were doing coke.
Well, the places that they're filming in this movie as well are places that we could probably go down the street and find. Like, they're just like back alleys with just construction sites.
It's your favorite guerrilla filmmaking style of just whatever and wherever, which is why the movie doesn't even take place in Miami, except for the first couple minutes. Everything else is just in random parts of Florida. Yeah. Even though the movie's called Miami Connection. But what do I know?
Looks like Florida.
Right.
So there's that
It
appeal.
looks like Florida, so that's all.
And speaking of that, what I brought up to you in the movie that we should have saved till talking now, but we can re-talk about it, of course. The accent part. Remember I was saying, so New Yorkers have like a New York kind of accent. Southern people got a Southern kind of accent. What is a Florida accent? Because this movie doesn't really help us.
I'm pretty sure a Florida accent is when you talk with most of your teeth missing, and you got a gator.
meth.
You got a gator in one hand, and then you got a pile of meth in the other.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's how a Florida man speaks.
But this movie, you've got a main character who's Korean, right?
Yeah.
You've got the boss of the ninjas who is all ADR.
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is all
what he
post-production
Yeah.
audio, so this is probably some guy who's in the editing booth or whatever. Yeah, it's
Most likely, the dude who played the main, as I'm thinking about, the main bad guy was probably a friend of the Grandmaster Kim's.
yeah.
He was probably just some random Asian friend of his who was just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you want to be in this movie? Don't
You
worry."
look like a boss of these guys.
You look like a ninja boss.
Throw 'em
So
in there,
I just need
yeah.
you to be. All you gotta do is wear the scarf,
Yeah.
throw on a jacket, and pretend that you're bad. Because he didn't have to speak, because you can tell he's not even actually speaking English. And most of the shots of him walking is either mouthing nonsensical words, or he's not even. His lips aren't even moving.
No.
So him and the one dude who looks like what's his name from Home Improvement, Al. Looks like
Al Bundy.
yeah, he looks like Al Bundy if he did like a bunch of coke and lost a
Yeah.
lot of weight.
So he is the criminal, right? The main criminal.
the
in
main
movie.
criminal, the main bad guy.
He also looks like Steve Carell, as I said.
Yeah, he's like if Al Bundy lost a lot of weight and then had sex with Steve Carell, that would be like what ended up being this guy, which is the brother of the girl in the band.
Yes, who just keeps changing throughout the movie. She
Constantly.
looks so different.
Like I swear to God, I thought it was remember when I first watched the movie, I was like, yo, this looks like a different girl every single time she comes back on screen. I thought it was a different actress. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
It might
you
have
know,
been.
the quality. They could have just been, swapping women in and out, and like
Yeah.
no one notices. Or you never know, it could be twins.
Possibly.
They do it all the time.
I mean,
But then I'm like, that's giving them too much credit because.
yeah, I don't think he wanted to spend the money on twins in this. So I
Are
mean,
you sure though? Twins.
but
Taekwondo gets all the bitches.
what other characters we got? Axl Rose.
Oh,
who
we have
is
so
a
many.
criminal on
we
the
have
criminal gang.
We got Axl Rose. We got big baby,
Big baby, as
big
you
baby
call him,
daddy,
Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley. You got the big fat guy, and then you just got so many stock characters of
Yep.
people that are supposed to look tough and they don't.
Yeah.
Then you have an interchangeable army of ninjas where if you look close enough, most of them aren't Asian.
Yeah.
They're white.
They're just white.
Even the
dudes.
bad guy,
Yeah.
like I was pointing out to AC, even the bad guy when he eventually fights Kim
The
at the
final
end,
fight,
the
yeah,
final
final
fight, you
fight.
look closely enough at the eyes, he's not even the same dude. It's just
No,
some stunt
just
guy
some
is fighting.
Yeah, and I bet you he
completely
was like a
different.
martial artist or something. So as we said, his friend probably wasn't even a martial artist.
Which
so.
seems kind of weird because he probably had a circle of friends who were Asian as well, but
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about the guy. So if anything, obviously the point is he used whoever he could.
Yeah,
And that was about
exactly.
it. So what didn't you like?
I would say probably the pacing of it. I feel like with the band scenes, you looked over at me when there was a band scene.
Yeah,
I couldn't
I've never
handle
seen
it.
you loathe something so much. And you're a pretty chill guy.
No,
which is
yeah,
fine to
I'm
me.
a drummer in a band, and I'm in a band as it is, so I dig music. Duh. So you'd think, oh, I would like it, and I think that's what we were saying. His mindset of like, oh yeah, an American audience would love to have
80s.
A
I mean,
band.
80s big, loud music.
Love the music in this movie because it's so cheesy. 80s
It's
synth
awful.
rock.
Straight up awful.
It's awful in a great way, but I will say I think those scenes, there's like 3 or 4 minutes every song, and it's just like, okay, at least the first time the band plays, it's when his friend, the boss of the ninjas, he is in the club and he's asking about the band. Like there's some reason for it to be happening. But then it happens like the second time, and I don't think there's anything else going on. It's just the band playing. Right?
No, that's it. No, it's literally the most of the shots of them playing is just them playing
Yeah.
the songs playing, and it doesn't even make any sense because my favorite songs from actually I like all the songs and I pretty much know them by heart, but one of my favorites is Against the Ninja, and in the
Against the
movie
Ninja,
it's
yeah.
literally just played and they're talking about stopping the senseless killing, stopping some evil war, and there's nothing that hasn't even happened in
happened.
the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Happened in the movie
Yeah.
concerning ninjas or war or anything, and they're just singing about this, and everybody in the audience is like, yeah. Ooh, against the ninja. Against the ninja. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Nothing makes any sense.
Well,
You-
that's
you
why
try.
I said that, like, I don't like these parts because they feel like filler. If you know what a filler is, it's just
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
we need time to fill, so let's just put a band playing a song.
I get, like I said, I think in his mind though, he wasn't feeling it. He was feeling it with something great because he's probably thinking, "Oh, American audience." Because the very fact that as I read this and it said, that's why I read that excerpt from the booklet where he mentioned, American epic, Miami Connection. I think in his head, that's what you get from most of these like people that are involved with these movies, whether it's like Wiseau or any people you asked, they did not think they were making an awful movie. Mm-hmm. And I mean that's why we love it so much. Because it's
what is it called? Like self-serious? Like they are
no, but self. Just a serious. They think it's serious. It's unintentionally hilarious because they are expecting you to be like, oh, this is a good film, like good, like actually good movie. When it's actually horrible, but in their mind, they thought it was going to be, thought it was going to be good.
They thought that what they were making was on par with the movies that they were inspired by.
Right, exactly.
Yep. And I think when like we were talking about Samurai Cop, same ballpark there. And I think that, when we were talking about Samurai Cop 2, I think the reason why those sequels to bad movies don't work is because the cat's out of the bag. We already get that it's bad now. We knew that Samurai Cop 1 was bad, and now they're trying to make a second one that's trying to be bad, and it's like
it totally ruins the fun because it's like that's why I never got into the Sharknado series because like I thought the idea was kind of funny, but then when it turns into like Sharknado 7 and it's actually 7 movies and it's like
they're just banking off the success of what it was.
It's one thing to make one bad movie intentionally, because that's like like I was telling you about, Black Dynamite, my favorite,
need to see that.
Homage to blaxploitation films, and that's a great one. If you haven't, anyone listening, check it out. It's great. But like that intentionally makes fun of how bad those movies were, but it does it right, and that's it. And it's like that works. And maybe you can make a sequel, but again, you have to treat the material right. The problem with some of these people is that they'll go and think, oh, okay, now we can jump on this, and we can now pretend like for some reason now we're in on the joke, and now we're gonna make it bad,
and they want to cater to those fans that like us who loved the first movies of whatever they are. I mean, they haven't made a Miami Connection too, but I know that they would bank off the fact that they're a bunch of orphans, all this like crazy.
I think if they
bizarre
could,
knowledge.
They probably would start making like sequels to some of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly, but. I think, like we said, it's not intentional. I would say. I think that like he seriously thought that he was making a good movie.
Yeah, because someone like him, as you read about and learn about it, especially coming from a martial artist perspective, he really thought like because people use this medium, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, a lot of martial artists try to use film as a medium to express their viewpoints on philosophy and culture issues and
also their art issues. Right, like martial arts, they want to show off the art itself.
That's the idea, is self-expression. That's why Bruce Lee was always one of my big inspirations, heroes. That's the idea is that you're expressing yourself through what you do, and in his case was fighting and whatnot. And so like martial artists, they have done that, and they were doing that for years. So he thought, oh, I can do the same, and I could go and make a difference by he had his heart in the right place. He had no idea what the hell he was doing.
Well, that's why when I'm talking about my favorite parts being the friendly message that's going about. Yeah. I don't know. See, this is such like a weird thing because I don't know if that's actually what he believes in. I think he thinks in his head, I'm using this as a tool because I've seen in other movies, like Bruce Lee movies has philosophy. And the beginning of, what was it? What's his most famous movie?
Enter the Dragon, probably.
Which one?
Enter the Dragon.
Yes. In the beginning with the garden and he's talking, it was like very philosophical.
Yeah, he's talking to his master. He was the one who actually made sure to put those scenes in the movie to make it more philosophical.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this director was like, oh, these other movies, they're not just senseless martial arts movies. They have some kind of message behind it. But when you are singing the theme of the movie, like friendship and all that kind of stuff, like it just is. How did he not know that this was?
Because I think it was again that misrepresentation of cultures and not really understanding it. Because like we're watching a movie talking about friendship and no violence and everything. Literally the movie ends on a quote that he has. I don't remember, but it's something about only the elimination of violence, something stupid.
The elimination of violence can end world or can
only create world peace or something like that. And it's like they just spent the entire movie killing ninjas. Now, they're getting attacked, but just they're killing them. They're not like knocking them out in like Power Ranger style. They're literally murdering them with like swords and violently. And on top of that, he's over there, friends to eternity, loyalty, honest. And I think that just all that really does is speak to, again, someone not understanding a language, and that would just be the same way if one of you or I went over to an Asian country and tried filming over there. It's a completely different world, completely different kind of humor and stuff. That's why a lot of international stars have trouble breaking into different markets if they don't know the the culture or the language or whatever. It's like it's a lot easier. It's something I can tell you is a lot easier in martial art movies. Like if you want to get like some of my opinions on. Like it's a lot easier in martial art movies to get multiple international casts of people because you can write roles in such a way that it's really easy to squeeze somebody in. So I'll give you an example. So like Dave Bautista, Dave Bautista he was a wrestler. Yeah. Now he's an actor. He's kind of like he's not as successful as The Rock, but he's not bad in his own zone right there. Definitely better than John Cena. Good Lord, John Cena. He's trying to bring it up the rear there with being a superstar himself. But we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. But so like he's been doing movies in the States with like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. But then he's been doing movies over in China. Yeah. So like he'll just be randomly in a Chinese martial art movie, like he was in this. If anyone knows the Ip Man series, the martial arts series.
You told me to watch that. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Seen them on Netflix.
The first couple. Yeah. When it gets to like three is enjoyable. When I watched 4, that was one of the most disappointing things I've ever seen in my life. That's something I think maybe you and I should watch because that was really bad.
Yeah. We'll bring it up.
But so in the movie, he's in the movie as the bad guy, but you can tell he speaks no Chinese.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter because these movies are made in a way where you can actually fit somebody in there and it's not too clunky. Yeah, it's a little weird for someone watching it, but you can get it done without having too much of a problem. That you can fit that in. But you're gonna come across those issues where it comes off weird because it's just a lack of misunderstanding with how American audiences are going to see something or use something. And also, you don't even know the language and you can't really, communicate as well.
Well, he should have had some kind of consultant on
You think,
Miami
but
Connection.
Most of these movies, I don't think they have translators.
No.
Like, do you know John Woo is?
John Woo. I've heard the
name.
Yeah,
action director of China.
Yes.
Like, so he made some really successful films in China, really good action movies. You check him out.
What did he make here? I know.
So his first American movie was Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is why I bring it up. And then the ones you might think of as Face Off and Broken Arrow. All right. So Face Off was like is probably his most successful American movie. But the first one he made, he barely spoke any English and no one spoke any like Chinese. So he literally had to spend the entire production trying to communicate with everybody. And it's like, so there's been literally like movies made on, I don't even know like where the money's going because you have millions of dollars at your disposal. You don't have a translator or something. But yeah, literally there's been movies made with nobody being able to understand each other.
I think it's that pioneering mindset where it's like, I am a foreign director. Just because I'm foreign doesn't mean I don't exactly know the layout of a film. Even though he's new to filmmaking, he probably thinks in his mind like, oh, I could do this. Like, like there's...
Oh, yeah, because the thing about how many people think, like, when you talk to someone about a movie, they probably like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah, like they think they can make it. Yeah. They think that it's a piece of cake.
That's what I thought when I was younger. When I was watching movies, I would just be like, oh, yeah, you just, you got the camera, and then, you just block out a couple scenes, and then you film it, and that's it. That's it. Instead of once you actually get really immersed in filmmaking, you're like, damn, that's a lot of moving parts.
Sorry to interrupt, but I never knew... like when we went and we met obviously on a film set, I didn't know how many different jobs there were in a movie. Yeah, I thought it was like a small knit group of like 10 or 20 people. Like I thought Spielberg movies, when I would watch them, I would be like, oh, they only took like 5 or 10 people to to be on this film set. And then I realized, wow,
so naive, and
it's a team effort.
It's literally, and we're not even talking about movies that have special effects artists that literally can then put the list of people working on a movie in like the thousands. Yeah. And it's like before I was like, there's like 10 people in one hell of a camera. Yeah. And they just do
that's
it.
That's all you got to do.
It's like, that's all, you just got to throw some music on it, slap that on. I'm like, no wonder why some of these directors want to have a heart attack. I'm like, that's a lot they have to juggle. And they do have people, different units and director and, like secondhand directors and stuff. But like, that's still a lot to juggle.
I think he hired probably people from the University of Central Florida to be on his film crew. This feels like possible. A college movie. Like, don't you feel like this is... Yeah.
That's the funny thing when we talk about like different levels of bad movies. I feel like there's a difference between like almost a lot of bad movies feel like giant college or film student projects.
Yeah.
They like oversight. Like they seem like a bunch of kids stumbled on like a lottery or some kind of contest where they were just given an actual film budget and then they were allowed to make whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of bad movies feel like. And
It's
this one, I
sad.
see that. It's like a giant college film project.
And I mean, how ironic that there's a college in this movie, which I feel like was one of the few locations that he could permit able to film.
Maybe because I feel like, what are they going to do? He's going to come in there and ask him, and they're going to be called racist if they don't give him the film permits. It's like, well, probably I don't know how difficult that would be to film at a college because, I mean, really, what else are they doing? It's Florida. They're
Yeah.
probably used to just, naked people running around, like I said, with gators and meth. So
It's not new for them to
Nothing
have
new to just
somebody
have someone,
wandering.
doing
Yeah.
taekwondo on the front lawn. So it's probably, and then I think they also get paid too, depending
Yeah,
on.
they probably do get paid.
That's what I was thinking because it's not like an actual film or a college film project when you're like having to just ask for people's time and stuff. I think they probably most likely gave the university money. So we all know how well money in universities go.
I have firsthand experience, but the thing with the college that I also think like is a huge part of it is that when it comes down to filming at a college in general, I think it kind of gives the audience some idea of like, oh, well, these guys are college educated, like they're good people. And I think that's like his mindset. The director's mindset is like, how do I make these guys more suitable to American audience? How do I make them more likable to an American audience? Well, let's make them go to college because it makes them look like good guys. Because the mindset of like educated and good, I feel like in a foreign mindset is like, oh, if they're educated, that means they're great men. It's that complete like lack of social context in the premise that like just because you go to college it doesn't make you a good person. Like
Then I think
maybe I'm
also-
thinking too deep, but
Well, it's because you're just such a deep thinker. You like to get, you like to penetrate deep, really push in through hard.
get really deep in
Really deep. It's hard. Like if you could see my arm right now. I'm going all the way to the elbow.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to get that deep.
I'm like fisting.
Yeah, I'm like
into the mind.
superficial. I'm a very vain person, so I'm like kind of like at the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I'm knocking to get in further, but the door won't open. So you got to keep that penetrating going for me. But it's like I was thinking it's also, I think, because it's just easy. When you talk about lazy storytelling or lazy writing, you find something. I mean, think about how many different like TV shows, animes, and all that stuff is like centered around like college or school life or something. Because that's a really easy thing to just have a story based around. Because then you could just go wherever with it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, hey, like think about the movie. How often is it just shots of them roaming around a college when they're not even in the college? They're not actually taking any classes. There's nothing having to do with it. It's literally just to have
There's one scene in
something
the
to
beginning.
do.
I think
There's one, and it's like a weird. They've got like computers, and the guy does some.
Clickety-clackety sound.
They're going and they're slapping. they're slapping away at the computers, and then the one Michael Phelps looking Taekwondo guy comes in and starts making like some weird gang signs to the girl who's ever changing, the actress who's ever changing.
Yeah.
And, like that's it, and then the rest of it is literally just like seeing them in the parking lot, walking around campus.
It's right off campus. They're like walking on like the sidewalk
Yeah,
to
it's
the
a walk-
parking lot. Yeah,
And-
and everyone's
or-
getting
yeah.
out into class. There's all the extras behind them.
And then there's the people greeting them randomly.
Yeah.
There's so much like, and then I
Hi,
think that's
hello.
another thing. Going back to what AC was talking about with the friends thing. I think Grandmaster Kim must have been thinking that everybody in America must really greet each other like really happily.
Yeah.
Because like even the bad guys are always doing the Dutch and Dylan handshake from Predator. And, like, all the bad guys are going like this and shaking their hands like, oh, it's so good to see you, hugs and kisses. And then they're going on the college campus and everybody's like, oh, how you doing? It's so good to see you. And handshakes and hugs. I'm like, this isn't. I mean, I don't know where the hell you'd be seeing this, but I don't see this anywhere.
Well, that's
I've seen a biker bar.
That's the
God.
familiarity, I think, behind. Yeah, the biker bar scene is kind of weird when they do that, but I think it's like what he's talking about, like the friendly familiarity that like Americans have with one another.
Well, keep in mind also, he's from a part of the world where respect is usually a huge thing, especially martial arts it should be first and foremost about respect. Mm-hmm. So, because most martial arts disciplines, you always bowing is a very integral part of what you're doing. So, if you add that into it, it could be, I could even see him looking at it from that perspective of how you'd always be showing people that respect.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, most cultures in Asia have to do with bowing and being respectful, even if you don't practice martial arts. So it's like, again, what we're talking about, you could be just going off of just autopilot of thinking that's how it is here and we want that. Yeah. Or even he thought that maybe that's what people need to see and be inspired by it.
Is some kind of friendly nature.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, you deal with this with martial art all the time. Like a horrible example of like someone that falling on their face and totally ruining was Steven Seagal. He went and finally, it was after Under Siege when he made it. That was like his most successful movie in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Enjoyable.
Siege, yeah.
I love that one because it's so bad.
There's a second one too. Right?
Yeah, that one's bad. That one has
like
frickin',
on a train or something?
Yep. Same exact movie, but he's on a train because that makes sense. And that's the bad guy is the dude from Law and Order. Why, I don't know. Don't ask me. He looks like he's done like just like 2 weeks of coke straight and he's never slept. You know what guy I'm talking about? He's got curly hair.
I didn't really watch Law and Order, and I haven't seen Under Siege too. I just know
son
the
of a-
cover where he's
Wow,
like,
so-
he's like hanging off of it. You know,
You're right, but why would you lie to me like that? AC?
it's all for love. That's it.
Yeah, no wonder why we're not going to get married because you're just a lying,
Well,
conniving
you
whore.
just said your wife was.
So as I was saying, when he finished Under Siege, obviously, you know, they were like, "Oh, you did a great job. So here, take our money, and do whatever." So he went and made an environmental piece called On Deadly Ground, which is like,
I know that one.
yeah, reviewed as like one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
But literally, the movie ends.
Was it Samuel L. Jackson? Who else?
No, you're
is
thinking
that?
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, you
Wow,
know,
how did
yeah.
I get Samuel L. Jackson? I mean, they're old men,
that's-
so
It's really racist of you, but that's fine. So it was like, you know, of course, Michael Caine, because Michael Caine was a real whore for money at times, even though he's such a great actor.
He was in Jaws 4. Did you ever?
Yep. Obviously, this is a podcast, and no one can see me nodding along, but I'm laughing as I
Jaws
do
the
it because
Revenge.
Jaws the Revenge, and he was like, they're like, "Why'd you do that?" It's like, well, because I needed money,
Yeah.
and it's like,
He wanted a new speedboat or a new.
you know, when you
summer
just sell
home.
yourself for a new speedboat. But so Seagal does On Deadly Ground. He directs it. So he makes it in his own environmental piece about how, you know, we're killing the Indians and we need to, you know, do better with the environment. And literally the movie ends with him speaking for like 20 minutes in front of people on a podium, and you know, whatnot. It's just, the point being is it's just, you know, it's a jerk off session piece about him being the hero, and it's showing his views. But I'm like saying is, martial arts has been doing this for years,
Yeah.
and you know, they'll continue to do it. I hope to do it one day myself. It's like it's a great use. So in this case, this was our boy he had the heart in the right place, but execution was horrible. Like,
Well, I love his. I honestly think his acting is great in this movie. To be honest,
are you serious?
I was not great in like a Leonardo DiCaprio or
What great? Like what level
great,
of great?
as in he's one of the few that's taking this movie seriously. Like I feel a sincere role from him. And I don't know what it is. He looks
He's such a
dressed
kiss
up.
ass.
He looks like proper. I don't know. He
Should
just
be called KA for kiss ass.
no, seriously, like I don't know what it is, dude. I really like him in this movie, and I told you with those jeans, he just wears
too
those
kind.
jeans. This whole movie, he's like the shortest dude out of all of them. Too.
He is,
It's just
yeah.
hilarious. He's also like 20 years younger or older.
Oh, yeah. He's
and
like-
he makes everyone else look super young next to him. But
Yeah, he's like 45, and they're all like old too. It's just really weird when you think about it. They're all so-called orphans that are like in their 30s and 40s
yeah, that are going to college
together, and then they
some
spend
reason.
no joke the movie probably like 75% shirtless together in the same room.
feeding each other grapes. That
Which
one scene.
AC and I do that all the time, but most of the time my pants are off, and there is butter involved.
All right, we're gonna edit that one out.
Why? Don't.
This isn't a softcore porno.
This is a
podcast.
We accept all love here, don't we? No. Well, I mean, like, what's the issue here?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't want the people listening to be too sidetracked. with what we're
Sidetracked.
talking
You just don't want to,
Even though
express
this
your
whole
love.
movie-
You just don't want to express your love in public. Is that it?
about. Yeah, but this whole movie is just a sidetracking.
It really is. Like there's no. It's literally like the side mission of a video game, and you
Yeah.
get lost, and you never actually complete your original mission because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to end. Not even mentioning one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he finally when the I don't remember his name,
Who?
the blackhead,
Mark.
Was it Mark?
I think it was
No,
Mark.
it was Jim. He's like, Jim.
Oh, yeah, it is Jim. But where's Mark? I've heard the name Mark used in the movie. Maybe it's his dad or something?
No, Mark. I think Mark's the Michael Phelps.
Oh, that is
Michael
him?
Phelps looking
Okay.
Taekwondo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim, when he finally, he gets the message about his father.
Yeah.
And he goes out to the mailbox and he says, I found my father. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's got that really high-pitched voice for some reason. He's got like that Michael Jackson kind of Prince. Did Prince have a high voice? Yeah, he did.
Are you asking me if Prince had a high voice?
Like
Are you not cultured?
talking voice?
No, like talking as a man. No, he had actually a deep voice. More
Yeah,
than
that's
saying.
what I'm
He was
saying.
always
Because I
like,
remember, yeah, the Dave Chappelle skit, you always talk like this.
Yeah, no, he did. Like,
But I know
he's
he's saying hi, obviously.
Okay,
But
'cause I was like, who am I talking to here?
Yeah.
KC.
But
let
like
me down.
he's got that, and let's just kind of run through the characters in the original. I call them the OG gang. So
The
in
OG gang.
yeah, the director's gang or whatever. So you have the Michael Phelps guy. You've got this other guy who's so weird in this movie. He delivers his lines so awkwardly. Like that one time after they're practicing martial arts in the
and
college area, and you know how they're just sitting there talking to each other.
Yeah.
He has the weirdest line deliveries I've ever seen before. I'm confused. Like and at the end of the movie, he's nowhere to be seen. So
Yeah, no, because he was
Why
too
was he
busy
written-
being covered in blood.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I read the ending was redone by Grandmaster Kim because he wanted to be more upbeat. So I have no idea what the heck the actual original.
you can
ending
tell
is.
because I thought that the movie just ended after where it like pauses.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Jim. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was the end right there. It just pauses and then it
No.
goes to
Jim's
the
back
part
with a
Jim.
vengeance.
Okay, because I was confused about that. So we have Michael Phelps looking guy, the tall
Which
dude.
I can guarantee you is a student of Kim's.
Yes, you said
he actually he actually fights and he can kick well, so I know he's actually a student. And
Okay.
the fact his delivery is awful, you can tell that he's just there for the just
he's
to
not
be
an actor.
supportive. No, he's just there to be supportive of his master.
So you got
So-
him. Then you've got that weird dude with those weird line deliveries. Not really a good martial artist, as you said.
Which one are we talking about? You just explained like almost every person in the movie.
Yeah, but talking about the OG director gang, that guy.
Oh,
that
okay,
guy.
okay. Well,
Okay.
which one? There's two of them.
Well,
Because two
I'm
of them
gonna no the John Oates looking dude
Oh, okay.
with the mullet, the curly mullet, and the mustache as well.
What do they mean? The
He gets
pervert?
captured at one point in the movie.
Yep.
Okay, so does he die? I didn't know what happened to him after he gets tied up. Does he die? Because they don't show him for the rest of the movie.
I think they just didn't care.
I think they just left him
They
in
straight
the
up
back
just
of the
didn't
movie.
care. No, I think not. No, remember there was a whole scene with them rescuing him, but I think they just didn't care to even include
him for the rest
tie
of
up any
the
loose ends.
movie?
He was worthless for the whole movie, anyways, because all he was
Yeah.
doing was being really creepy and rapey, and that was
Yeah.
not cool.
He was
at all.
singing in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
he was
he
the
was-
first song.
He was singing, and then he was doing the electric, guitar solo,
Yes.
activating full mullet power.
Yep. He was, and then he also drove the car around, which is the pivotal scene where he gets captured.
So pivotal.
Yeah, in the
Lens.
film. Well, I said, why are they showing? Remember that one part where you were laughing, and I was like, "What the hell?" With his dad, and it pulls out like the thing of his dad.
The
Jim's
picture.
dad. Yeah. I was like, this is going nowhere. Why are they doing this? This is so weird. Like, first of all, he's pulling something like it's out of the mail. What is that? Like, he just pulls it out of like an envelope. Like, so his dad sent him a picture of himself. So,
Yep,
so
I
if
guess.
I were to like say I send you a message on Messenger next
Yeah.
time, I'm just gonna send you like a portrait of myself.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a lot better than the dick pics I usually get from you.
The more you talk about these things, the more people aren't gonna want to listen to us.
What are you talking about? I thought is this not the 21st century?
This is the real men of action, not the rape men of action. Okay,
Oh,
but
well, I'm in the wrong room.
You
Excuse
are.
me.
But let's get back to that though, because so that scene where like
Yeah, it's
I was
ridiculous.
like, wait, what does this have to do with the movie? Like, there's
Nothing.
no way. But YK Kim surprised me, and he brought it back at the end of the movie. As you said, it was a different ending, but still, his dad is at the end of the movie. So you said that they wanted to make a different ending for the end of the movie. Does that mean that that guy who plays Jim's dad was hired as an afterthought, or do you think when this
Probably.
movie, when the script hit whatever, and they have to start like really getting actors and stuff, do you think they actually went out and got Jim's dad, or do you think it was more of like,
I think
we need Jim's dad?
I think either one's possible, because obviously what that shows is that before he changed it, it literally would have had no resolve. Any of the things in the movie, it would have been absolutely, wouldn't make any sense. The last shot would have been them slow motion holding a sword for no reason, and then that'd have been it. So if I looked at the ending again, the guy who plays his dad looks like he's not actually gray. It looks like makeup. It doesn't look really real.
Now,
I could be wrong.
Thinking though, like, he does. He doesn't.
It doesn't look real.
Yeah.
So it could be the fact that obviously that dude is older. He's got to be in his 30s. So if that was actually his dad for real, he probably would have to. He still have to be old.
So they just hired some dude.
I feel like they probably just hired some dude, because he also looks so unenthusiastic to be there.
Yeah, he is the weirdest line delivery next to our buddy. But so as we said, the last thing in this movie was like, only the elimination of violence can, create world peace. Okay, I get that if you put that where the guy is holding the sword, and I think that was the official ending. He's holding the sword.
Yeah, he's holding
YK Kim's holding the sword. Bam, credits. Only, the elimination of violence can create world peace. Because that makes sense, because they're eliminating violence by taking out the violent people. Totally get that. But then you put this whole ending with Jim's dad at the end, and then you put it at the end. If you put something about friendship, how friendship is the most important thing in the world, then it makes sense. But it doesn't.
This movie's it's not called Miami Makes Sense Connection. It's called Miami Connection. And the only connection that it's making is in the title, because you never connect anything in this movie as best as you can. We also have, we've got the chick. We already talked about the chick who literally just changes actresses.
She knows the OG director's orphan crew.
Yeah.
She knows them because
she's dating the one dude.
She's dating the guy,
Michael Phelps.
But she plays with them at the nightclub of the band that they are in.
She's
correct.
the singer. Yeah.
Okay.
She's one of the singers.
So she's one of the singers, but her brother is the head of the criminal gang. So there's, as we said, okay, so there's there's so many freaking things. The orphan OG director gang. So
Right.
that is the good guys, quote unquote. Then you have the criminals, okay? Then you have the ninjas.
Yep.
Now, who were the guys in the beginning? The first scene.
Just completely interchangeable. Didn't matter.
I thought, the white hats and everything like that.
that
I
literally
thought
was
that they
not.
were related to the criminals. Because then who are those guys with the head bandage? Who is that guy?
Literally, those dudes were just the band. Like they were just the band that was playing at that nightclub before they got thrown out and replaced by Dragon Sound.
Oh, okay.
That's
why they're pissed.
That's why there's that wonderful scene of him coming in, and screaming at the guy who runs the club,
Yeah.
and then getting into a fight with him, a martial art choreographed fight with him, because he's like, "You came in here, you're playing goddamn songs for kids, old people." They're going back and forth. It's because literally he's pissed because the nightclub owner drove them out so then they could play.
That's had nothing to do with this movie. If you
Nothing.
take them out of the movie,
Nothing.
you could still.
But
make
it would have
sense.
got rid of one of my favorite jokes in the movie, which is the fact that guy has the head bandage on with the the pouring blood out of it, and it's like, I chuckle every time, because if you had a head wound that bad where blood was still seeping through, you'd either be dead or you'd be in the hospital. You don't just walk around with that on your head.
It's almost comedic. It's kind of like a cartoon in a sense.
It's amazing. I love it's one of my favorite parts. We wouldn't have got that, but yeah, they're complete. Even the ninjas really are worthless.
Yeah.
Because
So let's talk about them. So the ninjas are their boss, as we said, is the director's friend.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about. Does he have a name? I don't remember.
I don't
his
even
name.
think he does. Oh no, he does. But they don't even mention it that much for us to care.
Yeah.
The point is that he's just there.
Scarf
and
man.
Scarves,
Just call him Scarf Man.
Scarves and all.
Yeah.
Scarf Ninja.
Scarf Ninja.
Scarf Ninja. Scarf Ninja's just there.
It'd be a good movie.
It's you know what?
Ninja.
Write that down.
All right.
Write that down.
But
Scarf
all right.
Ninja.
Okay.
He is the master of scarves and motorcycles.
Yeah.
And supposedly, I guess, a crime lord in Miami who spends most of his time hanging out in his Japanese garden talking to his best friend, who happens to be Discount Billy Mays, Al Bundy, Steve Carell.
We talked about him
Love child.
earlier.
So he's supposed to be like best friends with him for some reason. Doesn't make
Also, the brother of the girl,
Female singer,
who is
yeah.
dating Michael Phelps, who
Right.
is in the orphan gang.
so they're friends for some reason, and
a lot of connections
Miami connection
here on Miami Connection.
Freaking Scarf Ninja there is always wearing white when the rest of his entire team is wearing black, usually in broad daylight in this movie, which is hilarious.
Why are Well, because there are scenes where, okay, of course, we haven't talked about, but the ninja gang rides motorcycles, okay?
Yes. With
How come they're not I mean, they do ride them with the ninja suits on, but in
Yeah.
the beginning shots, in a lot of different shots throughout
Yeah.
the movie, they're wearing, like, leather jackets
Yeah.
when they go hang out with
Other
the
bikers.
biker scene as
Yes.
well. You've seen a lot of ninja movies and stuff. Like, doesn't that somehow betray like a code of like silence, or like aren't you supposed to have some like anonymous kind of attitude if you're a ninja? Like, why are they sometimes being like these like quiet anonymous ninjas where like nobody knows who you are, but then other times they're wearing leather jackets driving motorcycles? Is it Florida? Is that why?
It's called Florida Ninjas. Okay. It's called Florida Ninjas, and it's also called Asking Too Many Questions, AC. And we call you Asking Too Many Questions.
Hey,
that's gonna be
this
your
is
new
why
name.
we're here.
I know, but it's because the fact is that this is my main connection.
Okay.
The only connection is between Coke and this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Not sanity. It's not
Even
sanity.
though the
in this
Coke
movie.
has almost nothing to do with this
Literally
movie.
almost nothing to do.
So-
That's the best part is that
Yeah.
there's supposedly gangs. There's supposedly gangs, crime, and drugs.
Yeah.
You see drugs like a grand total of like 2 times in the movie, and they're usually just in the bags off to the side. No one's even paying attention
They're
except
in
for
these like what are they, like chip boxes?
yeah, they're like
with the Coke in them?
Asian
snacks. Or
Asian cardboard boxes you get like if you
Yeah.
watch somebody stock a supermarket. So like
Yeah.
you barely even see the drugs. You barely see any crime. Literally most of this movie is spent either watching guys run around in scarves, taekwondo, fun dance party, singing and explosions and mullets, and then there's beach time, then there's shirtless time, then there's fighting, and then that's it.
Wait, so when we were talking about the whole reason behind why the ninjas are attacking the band is for a territorial kind of sense, right? But
That's what I think an
Is it
answer we just
Coke-related
came up with.
too?
I think that honestly, I think we're just coming up with answers because they never explain any of this. Literally, the
No.
movie starts with a Coke deal that's busted by ninjas.
Yeah.
They kill everybody, and that's it. So I think that's just leaving us to make the assumption that I guess the ninjas they've got the vice grip on the drug trade down in Miami, and then it's all just about it's all about a territorial thing. But the band doesn't even do anything.
no, like
to
they're just
even
playing music,
literally-
and
So then that
this-
would put it to, I guess, the discount Billy Mays, Steve Carell guy, dragging him into it would be my only thing that would make sense because it doesn't make any sense why it's any of it connects.
Well,
It
he
doesn't connect.
says though the one time it's related to territory or something like that, like they are in control of this nightclub, which this has to be the biggest nightclub in Miami. If people are literally trying to kill each other over this nightclub, I mean,
I guess
there's a lot of
so.
people there. Look at all the
Yeah.
extras
So
who
many-
are probably
yeah.
just college kids from the University of Central Florida.
I saw a
but-
lot of old people in there. If you actually watch, there's a bunch of,
really?
there's a bunch of like a couple of bald white guys going, yeah, they're like
Well,
clapping
there's a
and
lot of
dancing
old people
front.
in Florida. So.
Yeah, they all and where else they got to retire? They want to get down
Exactly.
there and get down on that meth gator train.
Well, that's how I'm confused in that sense of like, I mean, I know the story is convoluted, it doesn't make sense, but if we're going to talk about it a little bit more, I just am wondering why, like, okay, I totally get it's the mindset of YK Kim. He's like, got to protect your territory, got to do this, got to do that. Show us more like seedy gangs in like the area and stuff like that, and show us previous experience with, because at the time we meet them, they're just a band. They don't know anything, like they don't know martial arts, they don't know Coke, they don't know, they seem
No,
like the
they know
most
martial
like,
arts.
They sleep on U-Haul sheets, as we pointed out, U-Haul tarp sheets.
Yeah, as AC noticed,
I
if you're
caught it,
watching that
yeah.
he was literally sleeping on some U-Haul tarps they use
Yeah.
in moving vans in the movie.
What was the shot before it? I think it was the bad guys the ninjas at the biker bar. Wasn't that right before
Yeah,
it?
that's the best.
So
part
it
is
makes
the
them,
editing
and they're just
thing.
reading like books. It makes them look
Yep.
so like heavenly and nice and very.
It literally just cuts to that, and that's some of the best thing about this movie is the cutting. It literally just goes from night and day, completely just bonkers. One scene where there's crime and really nasty biker tits, and then there's just reading and talking about philosophy and stuff.
Well, that's like what I was saying is that like we're supposed to look at them like they're just good guys. They're just guys who are in a band. All they want to do is play music, and now they're caught up in this thing. But there's also this other aspect where it's like, no, like these guys own territory. Like that's kind of what the boss is saying, is that like they own this place because they play music there. These dudes probably barely make any money playing at this bar. I don't get what's so.
I don't. I think it's they forced a connection in Miami Connection. That's why it's that literally there's no reason for anyone to be at odds with each other. It's just because that's exactly what they want the movie to be.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about wanting to show us more scary gang violence, I think that's again brings it back to the idea that it's about his perception of what he thinks American culture is. Because look at a lot of movies, people think what people think is tough shows off in the movies. What I mean by that is, I think 50s and 60s, if you ever seen like cop shows, Western shows, their depiction of what tough was or bad guy was usually some dude who had just a tiny bit of scruff or just dressed a little darker or whatever. But it was like their version of what a tough guy or a bad guy looked like,
slimy kind of.
And but the point is, when you really look at it, it was just an actor trying to look a little bit scary. They didn't actually look that tough. Mm-hmm. And the same thing in movies. Like it's a great example is like music videos. You ever watched Michael Jackson, Bad and Beat It?
That's what I'm thinking of.
No,
the Subway
both.
one?
No, both. There's
what's
Subway.
the one with the Subway one? That's Beat
that's
It.
Bad. No, that's Bad.
Oh, what's
Beat
the
It's
one
the
Beat
one
It?
where it's him dancing around with his red jacket on, and not the Thriller one. It's the Thriller one, but it's not Thriller. It's where he's wearing the red jacket. He's in a diner. Then it ends with this gang that's fighting in the middle street. But the thing is, like, you really look at the dancers in it. You look at them and you go, they're not actually tough. They kind of dress like it. They kind of look like it, but they're not really looking tough because. The point is, that's not what he needed, but what I'm getting at is, like, I think that's that kind of perception of in his mind, or people that are like, oh, this looks tough, or like, throw these accessories on, do a little this, have a leather jacket. Most of the people weren't even in shape. Yeah. The bad people weren't even in that good a shape at all. Most of them were fat, and it's all juggling all over the place. I think it's like it all depends on the person if they think that all they've seen is certain depictions of what tough looks
certain
like.
Things,
I'm like, oh, then this is what American audiences are gonna think is tough.
Well, that's like the boss, for example. If they didn't really show that he is a vicious dude, the only part at the end is where he cuts that dude's head off.
What's more? Oh my god, I love that.
But
that scene.
So like that scene, if you guys are listening and don't recall, one of the last scenes in the movie is Ninja, who's like on his like last leg, goes up to the bosses and is like, "Boss,
they're all dead."
Yeah, and then he just gets his head chopped off. Okay, I get that.
Doesn't say a word. He just literally cuts his head off and starts laughing.
This could be a good action. Okay, hear me out. This could be a good action if you look at it from one perspective. You could say, okay, the boss sees one of his henchmen literally close to dying, like put him out of his misery, cut off the head. Okay, but why didn't like throughout the movie like he like terrorized? Have you ever seen Three Ninjas? It was a family
long time ago, but yeah, I did.
There's a boss in that, and throughout the movie, he's always like has henchmen who are like super like just intimidating and mean, and like even the boss like is always shown yelling, getting mad. It's like the classic like not Master Splinter. Who is the other guy in
Shredder?
Ninja Turtles. Shredder. It's the same in Ninja. If Ninja Turtles and Three Ninjas can do this, where they make the guy, the boss up top, look vicious. Why is this movie? He's like smiling half the time. He's having a good time.
Yeah, you know why he's smiling?
Coked
AC?
Out?
Because he doesn't understand a fuck.
Oh yeah, that too.
Of what they're saying. Okay.
Yeah, his ADR throughout.
He's literally smiling because it's like, because that's one of my biggest things I've ever wanted to learn about movies and filmmaking was how they got people to work together who didn't speak the same language. Yeah. Meaning, like, how'd you know when to come in with your lines, how to block a scene, because it's all about cues. I mean, if you're speaking the same language, then you know when your line comes up. If you don't speak the same language, I've always wondered what are the visual or physical cues that they get as actors to know it's my turn.
Well,
and
if
in this movie,
YK Kim could speak the same language as the boss, then maybe like when he's like, speaks in the native language or whatever.
You mean Korean?
Yeah, obviously. But I'm saying speaks in his native language so he doesn't. Okay. You maybe that did kind of sound dumb. I will admit.
It was a really bad blonde moment there.
But
Oh, God.
yeah, so he speaks in the native language of Korean, okay? Mm-hmm. But who knows, as we said,
good.
we don't know this actual guy's ethnicity. We could be completely being
But you see,
stereotyping.
He's smiling.
Well,
He's
we're
smiling
saying
because
that we
like-
don't know if he's Korean or not. He could be Japanese. He could be whatever.
It could be anything. Yeah, he could be Philippine. He could
Yeah,
be,
but say he
Chinese.
speaks in the same language as the guy or whatever, or has some kind of translator, then that could help in some regard. But how can you read the script, which is written in English, which I don't think it was written in English. It might have been
Probably not.
converted into
Yeah,
English.
most likely, which would actually explain even more problems.
Yeah.
But that's something I've always wanted to learn about filmmaking because that's difficult. Like and people do that. Like that's I finally learned a little bit about that watching the Good, Bad, and Ugly. Have you ever seen The Good, Bad, and the Ugly? One of the best westerns of all time.
I've seen parts of it.
Well, the Ugly, there's the Good, Bad, and the Ugly. The Ugly is Eli Wallach, great actor there. But he was talking about a scene because most of those movies were shot in Italy, and a lot of Italian actors, people that didn't speak the same language, even speak the same language as the director, but they both knew French, so they could actually kind of talk
through there. Yeah.
But he was talking about a scene where he's having this with his brother, his acting brother, who's Italian. Either of them didn't speak each other's languages. They literally had to just watch each other's mouth to wait for them to stop talking. Then they would finish. And then once they finish, wait until they finish, and then they would go.
So you're saying they could actually make it work.
Yeah,
This movie,
like,
he was just
like,
smiling.
you can tell probably what they told him was to literally just go in and smile and be happy.
Yeah, 'cause he's
and we'll
just,
put
like,
it all in post.
mouthing and-
Yeah, he's just going like this, and then
Yeah.
probably said, "Don't worry." They were probably like, "Don't worry, we'll fix it in post."
Exactly. Like, there's no...
His friend Jeff is talking to him like the entire movie, and you can tell he's just talking, and the guy's just nodding his head and going, yeah. And then there's times that they're not even speaking, either one of them, and they're still supposed to be having a full-fledged conversation. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
But that does the White Ninja. He leads to one of my favorite parts of the entire movie, which is the combination of one, everyone's dead and he cuts off the guy's head, but then
the other one too, you said you liked the smoke part.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
What I'm saying, the other part is because my buddy, I was almost having a heart attack the first time I watched it with my buddy Greg, and he points out, for anybody who hasn't seen it, so after he cuts the guy's head off, and his last ninja tells everybody, tells him everybody's dead, he takes it upon himself to go, face the Miami Ninja to face Grandmaster Kim himself, and he literally, it just like in a split second, he jump cuts to him like running outside through a thing of bushes right to where they were fighting. There's nothing to show at all that they were that close.
Yeah.
He could have been anywhere. He could have been in an entire different part of Miami for all we know, but literally he just runs off of his ninja plantation, and then he immediately appears for the fight. And I was dying because my buddy was like, "Oh, he just like run out of his backyard?" And he was just right there.
Well, here's devil's advocate to it, okay? Because I thought about this when you said it. I thought about
Here
it.
it comes.
Let me just rehearse.
God, this is awful. Do you really gotta do this?
Okay. What if... Okay, so since he's coming in, okay, so you have the ninja... Okay, here's the boss.
Yeah.
Ninja's coming in. He's like, oh, boss. Whatever. He's beating the shit out of... Who beat the hell... Who beat him up? YK Kim.
Sure.
What if YK Kim is just in the bushes, like, waiting for... Watching the one guy who's, like, crippled and, like, fucked up from this, like, slowly, like, creep to his boss. And what if he's just waiting there? But at the same time, how would you know, like, to go with what you're saying, how would YK Kim know what direction the boss is going to go to?
Well, then, okay, so if you want to play devil's, we want to get that in depth.
Okay.
Now, detective, we'll talk about it. Remember, he's by Jim.
Yeah.
Unless where they got attacked was right by where his ninja plant. It's the same ninja plantation because that's the shots where he's randomly trying to destroy two flaming bricks. Mm-hmm. They have a whole stack and they're on fire, and he ends up only breaking like 3 of them. It's the same platform, So he's on that when the guy comes running or staggering up to him and says they're all dead. And then there's nothing to show that there's any way that this is in the same vicinity, the same atmosphere, the same planet as where they are, and he just runs off the platform and immediately just runs out of the bushes.
Well,
he's right there.
That's what I'm talking about, though, about like the pacing of this movie is that you've got these like really slow scenes, and then you've got these moments. I mean, because there was another moment before that with the beach scene. Remember that scene?
Yep.
Where they're walking around, you sexually harassing women, and just a usual day in an orphan life like them.
Full-fledged sexually harassing women, just asking women to kiss them. Don't even know them.
The scenes before that, it's like a shot of a park, and then it's a shot of like water or whatever. But I don't remember what exactly happens before that. But it's so like quick and abrupt, and it's just
Probably
the jump cuts are so and it's so quick and random. It was like the other part when they were fighting and they played music for like 30 seconds, and then they cut to the dudes pulling up and walking inside like after the store owner, meets up with the orphan gang. Like
it's literally going from like fight, and then stop, and then on to something next. Fight, stop. And the fighting from a martial art perspective, the people that knew what they were doing weren't bad martial artists. There were some good techniques in it, but they didn't know how to choreograph things.
And how make it to look like on a camera, make it look
make
nice.
it look good. It was mostly what I call like gimmick karate, in my opinion, kind of like Power Rangers, where it's a lot of noises, a lot of hiya, screaming, and then like just techniques that don't make it's a lot of flash. And then, but doesn't make any sense in a coherent fight scene. It's just a lot of the same stuff. But like the point is, like he's obviously a good martial artist. There's some good martial artists in it, but he just didn't know how to translate that.
Or execution
from screen.
I feel like
from script to screen.
Like if you take this concept of a band of orphans, obviously it's laughable from the beginning, just because how it's written. But I think that this movie like had some good intentions, and that's why I have a soft spot for the director and actor Y.K. Kim. I think he by himself in all of the movie, besides which I want to talk about the pizza shop owner or whatever that is, an Italian restaurant.
I don't know. The food he's serving store doesn't even look edible, so I have no idea what that is.
That man, which we will talk about in a sec, that man loves to watch them eat. Like, oh my God, he's so happy. Like somebody else I know who made me dinner tonight, who enjoys
my like that, baby.
My company, yeah. But so like YK Kim, like I said, huge soft spot because he just has that go-getter attitude. I don't know, like execution's poor.
It is respectable. I do agree.
He has something about him signifies to me that he actually put some kind of passion into this project, even though it's a little half-assed looking, but maybe that was the best of his ability.
No, I will give that to you. This movie is garbage and it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's enjoyably horrible. But I do appreciate anybody who really puts their mind and their spirit into whatever that they do, and they push through it and they actually get it done. Because I know a lot of people who don't do it and they're lazy and they have a lot of potential. And they waste it.
Yep.
So no, I do appreciate that. Even reading him his little booklet there, I do get that. But
like that picture of him holding the where is it? You got it?
Hold on. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so there's a picture in the Blu-ray DVD booklet, and he is holding a film camera, and he just looks, I don't know, he just looks like happy to be there, Yeah,
because he saw it as an opportunity to showcase martial arts.
Yeah.
And if someone, whatever you're passionate about, when you know that you can fully express what you love and you really enjoy, it's a good feeling. I mean, I know how I feel when I train. So when I get to train, it's like, so he got the same thing. Like I said, you had examples of successful people who did exactly what he thought he was going to do. Sad part is that he did not have the execution to do such a thing. Instead, he became famous in a different way.
Well, it was like when I was a little kid. I mean, I used to love like writing stories, and even though I knew in my head I wasn't a J.K. Rowling or who wrote Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Tolkien.
Yeah, I wasn't a Tolkien, but I loved it, and I just love that. No, I don't love Tolkien.
You said token.
Token.
You don't want to be a token. Yeah, no,
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Not a token.
Yeah, your token.
I'm not token. It's token some weed right now.
No? I was gonna say token. No, token's usually like token white guy, token black guy.
Token. Yeah.
Like, he is a token ginger,
from
though.
South Park. Yeah. But no.
Tolkien.
See, now you got me completely forgetting.
What? I want to make sure
you
probably good saltant people. You said that when you were younger.
Okay.
You liked writing,
yes.
but you weren't.
Well, that was the thing. It's the fact of like. I think I said it in Samurai Cop as well. It's that feeling of like, even though you're not good at something, or you feel like you're a beginner, or like you're just beginning at something, you're putting your all into it because you enjoy doing it. I feel like a lot of movies are just made by people who in general like are just looking at it as a paycheck. They're not really looking at it as passion. It's incredibly just a way to make money, and because everything's a business, obviously, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but
most is.
Yeah, this guy, to me, even though he's not a filmmaker by nature, he's obviously more into martial arts. I have that soft spot for him. I could see it. Like, I can literally read him throughout the movie, and that's like my feeling I get from him is like, this is my first time on the big screen, and like, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try my best. He probably packed his own lunch before every shoot, like he,
If you read on his, I mean, he was incredibly proud when he saw how much people enjoyed it the second time it was found.
Yeah.
And when actually he realized that people really were enjoying it, and he got to see it packed.
Because I don't think he personally cares if people think it's good or it's bad. I think he just
not in the slightest. I think he's enjoying the fact that there's people there watching. And he said that literally there was an empty theater, waiting to show his film, and it packed with people. Mm-hmm. And he saw them just cheering with applause and laughing and having fun the entire time from start to finish. And he said that alone was, I was like, wow, that really made him.
I might have to rewatch this, honestly. Like, if we're gonna kind of just, we just perused the whole plot. I don't think we missed any specific certain parts in the movie, but I think I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this. Like, I would definitely enjoy rewatching this.
Here's what he said in his apprehension had vanished, replaced with enthusiasm for Miami Connection's upcoming release. It's like a miracle. I feel like I'm watching a dead body walking. At the premiere in New York, I couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming, so I pinched my arm, but it wasn't a dream. It was real. That's how. So
some people would be like, I don't give a shit. Like, but you can make fun of my movie. Like, who cares? This guy's actually taking
no, because like I said, it's because
being humble about it.
It was part of him. It wasn't like I think if it was just a movie that he just made that had nothing to do with martial arts, like it's like say that he had a hobby of making films, and he just made a movie that had nothing to do with martial arts.
Yeah,
I think he probably would have been a little bit more. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I think it'd been a little bit more easy to be like, oh yeah, it kind of sucked, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But I think because in his mind he thought he was really making a vehicle to push martial art values and to showcase why he loves it and stuff like that. I think that's because it was a part of him. He's pretty much like putting a part of him. Usually when you put a part of yourself on display and it's mocked and ridiculed, that's usually when people get, bitter and they start to retract back into themselves and don't want to deal with that anymore.
He,
kind of like my ex-wife.
Well. Oh, yeah. Well, you always got to bring her up, especially when we're out here after you make me dinner, But,
what are you doing about it? You put a ring on this finger yet? Huh? AC?
Well,
son of a bitch.
Well, let's kind of wrap it up a little bit here.
Well, here, that's
like I said,
perfect. I have the perfect thing for you.
All right, real quick.
Okay, you can wrap it up for me. Well, okay, so do you want to marry me?
No.
Well, I guess then this show's over.
Oh, that was the wrap up that you were looking for. I'm talking about the movie.
Oh, the movie. Scrooge. Well, I was gonna say I think we should give it our rating on the bad to the bone meter.
Well, before we start there, like I said, this movie I feel like is a pretty rewatchable movie, and I want to go back and rewatch it. Parts of it I was like, can we get to the end already? But honestly, like the more we sit here and we talk about it, I really had a fun time with this movie tonight.
It's good.
I really did, and I have that soft spot for Kim, and I don't know what it is, dude.
You should write him a letter. You should.
I mean, we should get him to listen to this just so he understands. Like, we could pick it apart, but at the end of the day, I actually appreciate what came out of this movie. Because, like I said, the first time I watched this, didn't remember anything. I think I was pretty stoned, so that was probably a reason why. Not any fault of my own.
He likes getting hit with rocks.
Yes, and as Bill Clinton said, I did not inhale. So, or was it Bill Clinton?
No, it was Bill Clinton.
Oh, it was Bill Clinton.
Well, it's okay. It's just the weed talking. You don't remember.
Yeah.
It was President Bill Clinton.
Wait, so those brownies you made, those weren't...
Yeah, so that rating system.
Okay, so the rating system. Okay, so let's go over this because you wrote this, and I just want to get familiar with it before we do it. Okay. So the first one is straight bad, completely unwatchable. And you mean by that, like, so bad it's bad. Like, you can't even watch it.
What I'm talking about is like a movie where you literally will sit there and go, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have to turn it off. Like, that's like, that is the 7th level of hell. That is when you just know a movie's bad. Because it's going to, I have to turn it off. I have to grab the clicker. Okay. I've got to take out the DVD. I got to do whatever. That's just straight bad, unwatchable.
All right.
So that's
like take
one.
A shower after you watch it. Okay.
Yes. Burn the clothes.
Yes. So number 2 is meh. So it's kind of like in the middle. It's like didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Right. That's like
okay.
where you're at that place where was it okay? Yeah. Was it? I didn't hate it, didn't love it, and then it's like, do I really feel like watching again? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's just like a what I got through the experience.
Middle ground.
Yeah, middle ground.
Okay.
I'm neutral.
So then the next step up is enjoyable, watchable, where it's like I didn't completely love it, but it's watchable and enjoyable in its own sense.
I liked it. It was, I enjoyed it. Now, would I want to watch it again? That's really just up to me.
It depends on the day.
Depends on how you feel.
And then so bad that it's so good, meaning I want to watch it again and again. What does that say? Off of
bad alone. Like,
just
so what I mean
because
is
it's
just
bad,
because
yeah.
it's bad alone. Like then we're up to the highest level of
Yeah.
existence, which is what we strive for as real men of action, which is so bad it's good, that it's so horrible that you can enjoy it and you can just get down with saying, hey, let's watch this again because it's so terrible, and that it's something that you can enjoy when you watch it for the level of bad that it is.
Yeah.
And for all the reasons that go into it.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, since you wrote this rating system, the bad to the bone or bad ability meter of reviewing. Let's hear it.
So for me, I would give it actually a 3, enjoyable, because the reason why I give it that is I think it's in between 3 and 4 because it's teetering on so bad it's good, but I don't think I would sit there and watch it by myself. So it's like, I think that to really get to that almost that God level of so bad it's good, I need to be able to watch, like I could watch Batman and Robin by myself on its own because it's just so horrible and so enjoyable to watch.
But you can do that on your own.
Yeah. But like this, I enjoy it. I think it's really so bad that it's good, but it's not to the point where I'd literally just sit and watch My Connection by myself.
Okay.
Like I'd rather, have a viewing audience with me, a group or something to, enjoy it with. So that's how I look at it.
And I'm going to probably say the same.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I would probably say the same. But I'm a little bit, you were between 3 and 4. I'm a little bit between 3 to 2. And I say this in the sense of those scenes with the band are just so painful to me. I can't do it. I feel like I'm watching a bad music video from the 1980s. And I love bad music videos, but it was just, it's so filler, dude. I just don't know exactly what the decision was. As I said, possibly a Rocky IV influence, because Rocky IV loved incorporating music and montages and all that.
But it's the 80s too, man.
That's true.
MTV. Like I get it because you're a musician. That's an area of life that I have no expertise in when it comes to actually playing music. Mm-hmm. So I get why you get really pissed. So it'd be like me if I saw bad martial arts, I'd be really pissed.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I enjoy those scenes because they're so stupid. Because I can tell that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm not a musician, I can tell they're not. Because one of the best things is when Kim is literally just like molesting the guitar because he's not actually playing it. So it's like I enjoy that, but I can see you're just ready to punch your fist through a wall.
Yeah, and I say it also because just there's parts throughout this movie where the soundtrack isn't cohesive. Sometimes you'll hear
silence.
There'll be complete silence, and to me, like the ideal bad 80s movie has consistent bad music. Though, like I love the well, I wouldn't say bad music. I would say good music in the aspect of it's a bad movie with like I love like like that kind of like Rototom 80 like electric drum kind of feel that's in this movie, but majority of this movie is just silence besides from the band and stuff like that. The intro music, amazing. I love that. And that's where I stick to the more 3, enjoyableness. I love the music in this movie, hands down. But the pacing wise, because I've had, which I'll talk about, I guess, another day, I've had a lot of experience as a drummer. And when you're a drummer, you listen for the rhythm. I'm trying to think of something, like maybe like a painter. When they see something, they look for like color, or they look for certain things when you're looking at something. That's how I am when it comes to music and that rhythm. This movie's rhythm is so all over the place. It's not really consistent. What makes a good action movie a lot of the time is that consistent pacing, that consistent rhythm and flow. This movie does not have it. It stops, it goes, it drags its ass off at certain parts of this movie. And then other times in the movie, it's super quick and it's super fast. That is the only part I don't like about the movie. other than that,
I think that's where we can agree about talking about the So Bad It's Good, is that it's literally like you take a good movie, which is fast paced, whatever things, a good action movie, fast paced, good.
Yeah.
It's even flow. Flip that. So Bad It's Good is that it's bad with an even flow of fast paced being bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a great example is I would use first like Batman and Robin. I can literally watch the movie by myself because it's so bad, but it's funny, it's enjoyable. I can giggle to myself about how bad it is. But like something like this, like probably would turn it off because the pace. There are those bad movies where the pacing is so terrible that you really almost don't feel like finishing it.
Yes.
You don't have the strength. You pray, say, Lord, give me the strength to finish this, but it doesn't happen.
And that's what I said the first time I watched this. I turned it off. I literally couldn't even do it. I was like, also the slow-mo parts in this movie does not fit the flow at all.
It's ass.
I think the dude figured out, like the editor, whoever, maybe it was.
He's probably like, yo, Kim, check this
new
out,
thing.
bro. Look at this. Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
Like-
He's probably like, oh, this is so good.
Exactly. But, there's things in this movie that I admire. Like I said, the ninjas with the motorcycles, which make no sense. They use crossbows. People are fighting each other with pipes in this movie, and somehow dudes, what was that?
The dude got hit in the neck with a pipe, and then it cut his neck open, and he was bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, like I love that kind of like it almost feels like it's like when on an old video game, like you used to be able to turn the gore on and turn the gore off, and in that instance, you just turn the gore on because normally if you hit somebody like that, it's not gonna cut open your neck.
Like that.
Yeah,
unless it was
if you had experience beating people with pipes, right?
Yeah, so it's been a good talk. I really enjoyed.
No, it was. Thank you, honestly,
you're very welcome.
for introducing me to this movie.
You took it like a champ.
Yeah.
Just like in band camp.
The sexual puns in the show. Please email us if you're getting sick of the sexual puns in the show. I didn't even give an email.
You can give me my email. It's 456suckmybigone@gmail.com.
We should actually make that the official Real Men of Action
email. Yeah, you can direct all complaints to that one. I'll gladly get back to you in 4 to 7 business years.
Yeah, so let's just wrap this up saying, okay, we didn't really introduce this podcast completely, okay? But from what we can tell so far, we are picking the worst of the worst movies that we can find, and we are just attacking them ruthlessly.
Yeah.
So, we didn't really, like, sometimes, when you begin something new, you like to just show it off at the beginning and talk about it. But you can kind of understand that by the end of this, we are going to be doing this. Also, what we would like to do eventually is get requests from people.
Yes.
To give us bad movies to talk
if
about.
If you want, shave our heads, take our clothes. Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
about.
Right. Yes.
My bad. Movies, yes. Movie requests. Good movies, bad. We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, all right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I am AC.
And I am Scrooge.
And...
we are Real Men of Action.